So I get a lot of calls, throughout the course of the week from publicists and authors and people who have things they want to promote, and they're calling me up. Hey, I want to get our client on your show. Hey, we want to get this author on your show, or this actor that nobody's heard of, or whatever. And about a year and a half or so ago, I get a call from a girl who lives in Atlanta. Her name is Sara Blakely, and she's telling me, "Oh, hi, Jimmy. My name is Sara, and I came out with these new pantyhose, and they're called SPANX, and I just want to know if, maybe you'd like to have me on to talk about my pantyhose and blah, blah, blah." And I'm listening. I'm like,
blah, 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 blah.
Blah, I'm not putting somebody on to talk about new pantyhose. That is just...
I'm surprised you made it that long in the message.
Yeah,
you heard that much?
Yeah, it was like a new rock message. I have new pantyhose, click, And not that I didn't think it was great, but we just don't do a lot of segments on our show, for the pantyhose, segment. Industry. Anyway, a year and a half later, and Sara Blakely is worldwide. I mean, all over the place.
You may have read about her in Forbes.
People, guys, I can promise you.
Oprah.
I can promise you that your girlfriend or wife knows what SPANX are. This woman took an idea in her apartment that just popped into her head, and 2 years later, and she's selling $14 million worth of these things in a year.
It's a success story.
It's an incredible
Huge.
success story, and
now you want to talk to me,
yeah,
Jimmy?
Now we'll hear what you have to say.
I see how you work.
Well, you know what it's like? I'll tell you what it's like. It's like the day I got a call about, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago from some publicist who had some British actor in town who nobody had ever heard of, and he has some stupid new movie out, and they want to know if we can interview him. And I'm like, what's the guy's name? I don't know this guy. Nobody's going to know who this guy is. Nobody's heard of him. She's like, well, you don't know of him now, but I'm telling you, people are going to know who Hugh Grant is real soon. I'm like, well, when they know who he is, then you call me. So, and this was an in studio.
We've all had those.
I
was going to blow off Counting Crows. Leslie had to put a gun to my head.
Right. Barnes, please interview this new band.
Who? What? Counting what? They're named after birds? I don't want to talk to them.
There was a time we got a memo. Hey, if you're around here during lunch, there's this new artist who's going to be playing in the cafeteria later on, just for some of the executives.
Cafeteria
in the lunchroom, just for like whoever wants to stop by. Her name is Alanis Morissette, and she's from Canada. And if
she's angry.
Yeah. So
if
please,
you want to.
Welcome to the show, Sara Blakely, who.
Thank you.
Household name now.
Created SPANX. Now, why are they called SPANX, first of all, with an X?
Because they make women's butts look better.
Yeah, is that really where you got the name?
Yeah,
it's a great name, by the way.
I got the name because I knew Kodak and Coca-Cola are the most recognized names in the world, and they both have a strong K sound in them.
Mm-hmm.
So for just good luck, I wanted my product to have a K sound in it.
Really?
And sitting in Atlanta traffic, SPANX with a KS came to me, and at the last minute, I changed it to an X.
What were you doing before this?
I was selling copiers and fax machines door to door.
What is your degree in?
Communications.
And had you, all right, so take us to the beginning. Where did this first pop into your... Explain what SPANX are, first of all. Explain why they're different than other pantyhose.
They have no feet. So it's the first ever footless control top pantyhose, and it came to me because I love clothes and shoes, and I had cream pants that hung in my closet for a while. I wanted to go to this party and wear the pants with open-toed shoes, so I didn't want pantyhose on my feet. And I cut the feet out of pantyhose to solve the panty line issue.
Why couldn't...
Because you could see all my undergarments under
panty
my
line.
Under the cream-colored pants. Well,
yeah.
Isn't that what a thong is for?
Well, it also smooths and shapes.
Smooth your butt, JB. And your hips and everything else in between.
So you had been taking regular pantyhose and just cutting the feet off them?
Well, I did it just this one night to go to this party, and it solved my problem perfectly. I wore these cream pants, and I thought this product should exist for women, and I started asking around, and all the women at the department stores were like, no, but what a great idea, and if you find something like that, let us know. So I went on the internet and started looking up hosiery mills and found out that most of them were in North Carolina. So I took time off of work and drove around and begged a bunch of men that make pantyhose to help make this idea of pantyhose without feet.
And they didn't steal it from you?
No, they thought the idea was insane. I mean, they all sent me away. And
Why?
Yeah, here's this chick with this stupid idea. Because they're guys.
But see, I'm a guy, and even I can understand. Oh yeah, that would make sense. You don't, because it looks dumb when you have when we were pantyhose with open-toed shoes, it does look kind of dumb.
Right.
So even I, and I'm about as dumb as they get, can understand. Like, yeah, that is kind of a good idea. Why would they not think it was good?
They thought it was a really bad idea. I mean, they all sent, first of all, I show up by myself and they're like, and you are? And I'm like, Sara Blakely, and you're financially backed by, Sara Blakely. So they're like, okay, well, have a nice day.
Well, I can't believe guys were sending you away. I don't buy that.
What guy was sending you away?
I'm sorry, nobody was sending you away.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's the first problem.
Yeah.
So finally you convinced someone, apparently.
Well, actually, what happened was I got sent away, and I got a phone call about a month later from a mill owner in Charlotte, and he said, okay, Sarah, I've decided to help make your crazy idea. And when I asked him why he had the change of heart, he said, I have 2 daughters.
See?
So, very cool. As soon as he told me he would help me make it, I, in the meantime, had been cold calling all these attorneys in town and trying to get them to help me patent the idea. And they thought it was crazy also. And the patent attorney I ended up using later admitted to me that when I first walked in his office and met with him, he thought that either his friends had set him up or that he was on candid camera.
Talking to Sara Blakely, who's a Morning X subscriber who created a thing called SPANX and now has billions of dollars.
The patent attorney I ended up using later admitted to me that when I first walked in his office and met with him, he thought that either his friends had set him up or that he was on candid camera.
Why?
Because it was a stupid idea.
Is it so dumb of an idea?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like
Well,
you do
he
that.
just said I wasn't his typical client. I walk in, I'm like, I have this idea that's going to change the world, and I whipped out pantyhose and started pointing to like the feet and the crotch and this, and he just started looking around the room, and he helped me. It was great.
Now the purpose is why I'm going to ask a dumb question as a guy representing the guy sect. Why wouldn't you just not wear anything with them?
Right.
Well, if you don't have an hour or 2 hours a day to spend at the gym anymore, SPANX will make you look like you do.
You know what? It doesn't
So it's
matter.
a point of form.
It doesn't matter how much I work out, and I walk almost daily.
Right.
I still have things like right here on my legs that I can't get rid of, and it's like they stick out in pants.
You're not trying hard enough, honey.
A little longer.
Yeah.
Well, so the point is form, not panty lines.
Both.
Both.
I mean, both. I sell them to women that are ultra thin
And-
that, are interested more for the no panty line and the smooth look in their clothes. And then I sell them to all different sizes.
Now, how much money did you have to sink into getting the prototype made? And I mean, how does this
$5,000.
How does this work? I mean, you go to the mill.
I went to the mill. I got on the internet. I looked at hosiery mills. I went to the attorneys. They wanted between $2,000 and $5,000, and $5,000 was my whole savings. So I bought a book on trademarks and patents at the Barnes and Noble, wrote my own patent, and then went back to the attorney that took me the most seriously and said, "Will you help write the claims for a discounted price?" And he agreed to do that. And then once the mill owner made my first prototype, it took a year. I had it in a Ziploc.
It took a year?
Yeah, a year, because I was the lowest on the totem pole
Okay.
of priority.
All he's got to do is whip out some with no feet.
How hard is it to make a
No,
pair
it
of-
took a long time because I was obsessed with the waistband and comfort and.
Yeah, you don't want it to
Oh, so
be
you
too
kept
tight.
going back and forth?
So he makes
Yes,
this
we kept-
prototype for you,
Right.
And you have to obviously. I'm guessing you have to pay him to for his services or whatever.
Actually, no. He
no.
didn't charge
Okay,
me.
so and then you walk out of his mill with a pair of these Spanx.
Yes.
In a bag.
Yes.
And how'd
then
you
what
sell
do you
'em?
do?
So excited. I called up Neiman Marcus and I said, I'm Sara Blakely. I invented a product. Will you give me 10 minutes of your time? I'll fly to Dallas. And she said, well, if you're willing to fly here, okay. So I put the product in a Ziploc bag from my kitchen, and I had a color copy of the packaging that we had designed, and flew to Dallas and met with her. And she instantly was like, this is brilliant. I want it on our shelves right away. And she put it on seven of her doors.
I wonder.
So what does that mean? It means she's going to cut you a check for X amount right there?
Well,
Right.
she bought some. I had no shit. I mean, the mill is shipping. I have semi trucks pulling up in front of my apartment in Virginia Highlands twice a week with pantyhose. I couldn't even get to my kitchen for like weeks. But I bribed friends to help me ship it. I mean, I got this order from Neiman's. I called the mill owner. There was a really long pause. He's like, "What do you mean Neiman's bought it?" I'm like, "Neiman's bought it." He's like, "I didn't think I'd ever hear from you again. I thought you'd be giving these away for Christmas for the next
I
5
wonder
years."
if the buyer from Neiman Marcus was a man, if you would have been able to sell those things.
I wonder.
Because
up until the point I had been dealing with men, and then the minute that I met with the buyer from Saks and Neiman's and all this stuff, they were like, "I get it."
What was
This
the
is
initial
brilliant."
shipment for Neiman's? How many did they buy at first?
I think the first shipment was like 3,000, and I instantly called every friend I had since like grade school that lived in those cities and was like, "You got to go buy this product and make a big deal out of it."
and these go for about $25 a pair.
Yeah. And then it took off. I mean, she put it in 14 doors, and then, all of her doors. And then I went and cold called Saks Fifth Avenue in New York. And then I was on Oprah, and I got a call from Nordstrom.
Well, what do you mean you were on Oprah?
That'll do it.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking to Sara Blakely, who's a Morning X subscriber who created a thing called SPANX and now has billions of dollars.
Now,
we said it would work years ago when she called.
How did Oprah find out about you?
I sent her a gift basket of SPANX.
And it actually got to her?
Yeah.
It got to her. And what was interesting was I sort of gave up a little bit for a while because I was really discouraged. No one was helping me make it. And so I kind of put it out in the world and said, okay, give me a sign, whatever. I'm either supposed to do this or not. And I flipped on the end of Oprah after a training seminar up in Detroit. And she lifted up her pant leg that day and showed the world that she had cut the feet out of her pantyhose to solve this problem.
So she did this first?
Well, I had been trying to get it made for a year, and I kind of just said, I'm up against a wall. I'm either supposed to do this crazy idea, or not. I'd already applied for the patent and everything. So the minute I saw her do that, for me, that was my sign. I was like, I'm going for it.
If Oprah's doing it, I'm going to shake my head and do it.
Exactly. So when I sent her the gift basket, it was like, here, I'm like, in the same wavelength, I'm wanting this product as well. And I got a call from her show, and it was great. I mean, they were like, Oprah chose your product as one of her favorite things for this annual favorite things show. And we want to, she likes your story. So we want to come.
Because when she does those shows.
And she's like a drug dealer. And I mean, her viewers, they mainline anything that she pushes, they mainline.
It's true.
So what does this mean now? How much jack are you making off these?
Well, when Oprah, can you give us an idea when Oprah goes on TV with your thing?
Right, it's insane. Like,
Tell what was what were your sales to that point? And
well, I'd only invented it for 2 months, so I'm in the back of my apartment. They show up. They go, "We want to film you in your headquarters," and I was like,
"Headquarters."
I was like, "You're standing in it," and they're like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." And then they go, "And we've decided we want to film you having a staff meeting," and I was like, "Hold on a minute." I had to recruit a staff. I called this lady I met at mailboxes, etc., because I'd been FedExing pantyhose, and I'm like, "Connie, can you be at my house and look like you work for me?" And called a couple of my friends. They all came over. And
why don't you just say it was you?
Yeah.
I mean, just say, hey, it's just me. I'm a one woman show.
Right. Well, yeah, why not?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
it was more fun to get all my friends over there. We all got to be. My friend who's in the finance world was standing in just pantyhose on Oprah. It was great.
So, and then, of course, talk about QVC, and that took you to the next level.
Right. Well, I cold called QVC. I'd been trying to get on there for about 4 months because my product was a new idea also. I mean, believe it or not, a lot of women didn't get it. Like, I'd stand and lift up my pant leg for women, and they'd go, well, what? And I'd be like, it's all about the butt. And they go, oh, I get it. So
you should be shaking your ass, not holding up your pant. You know what I'm saying?
I do. You're
directing them to the wrong.
And the irony is here. Here's a woman who invented this thing that's supposed to help women, control their top and tuck in their flab and all that stuff. Look at her. You think she even needs these things?
Yeah.
She's a stick.
Jimmy, it's about the panty line, and it's smooth.
Yeah, it does.
It's smooth.
I'm really 300 pounds.
See, I mentioned this off
hidden
air.
in a size 2.
Maybe I don't know if I'm the only guy. I kind of find panty lines sexy.
You would.
I don't know what. Maybe
they're not sexy.
I think they're kind of sexy. Barnes?
Panty lines are sexy
No?
if you got an hour and a half to spend at the gym every day. I mean, it's fine.
So you go on QVC. How many did you sell on there?
Oh, it's crazy. It's so much fun. I go on for about 7 or 8 minutes, and I can sell anywhere between 3,000 and 9,000 pair in 8 minutes.
And what do they go for a pair?
25.
And what's it cost to make each one?
That's a trade secret.
$1 or less.
Well, I'm going to say, first of all, is this the same material as like normal pantyhose?
Yes.
Okay.
Less than $1.
Well, actually,
$1.
I mean,
yeah. I'll say generously $1. $1, sure. Why can't you tell us?
So you're loaded.
Why can't you tell us what it costs to make a pair of SPANX?
Jimmy,
what's it matter? People are going to stop buying them.
You got the packaging and
top
everything
secret.
else.
Well, so did you move out of that 1-bedroom apartment?
I just did. I just bought a place a month ago.
Bigger?
Yeah.
All right. You still running it out of the house?
No, we just moved out of the house.
You got a warehouse now?
Well, I have 17 people with me, so that'd be kind of crowded in my apartment. Thank God we got space.
Now, how many are you selling a year of SPANX?
I don't know. I mean, I really don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Is there anybody who at your organization who would know that?
Yes.
Really? So you're like not even. You don't even know that stuff at this
point.
point.
Well, I'm more of the creative marketing person.
Can you say how much the company made last year?
$14
million. What are your projections for this year?
Hopefully more than that.
14, and the cost is probably about $1 million.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, she did a lot of the work on her own.
I mean, I realize that it's kind of one of those things where
God bless you.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is a great story.
It's a great story. It's a great story, Sara Blakely.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Sit down.
Uh-oh.
Because I got a little problem with this. All right. This is the enemy of men. All right.
Don't listen to
this. Sound like my brother.
Don't listen to this.
Leslie, give me the floor for a second. This is deception.
Agreed.
It is deceptive.
Here.
This is nothing but all this is going to do is aggravate and frustrate men.
Amen.
Because it's false packaging. I mean, this is you are not doing justice here. You are not helping men at all here.
She doesn't care about you.
I think she knows that she's doing that.
It's false advertising for women.
You sound like my brother.
Did he tell you the same thing?
He's like, Sarah, it's just not right.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
Jimmy, pantyhose has been around for a long time, so suck it up. Sarah, I love your products, and I use them.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leslie.
Thanks, SPANX.
Hey, props to you. That's huge.
I think in the last minute, can you stand... You were talking off here, and this is interesting, about... You said companies are knocking you off right now.
Right.
And I would think that with a patent, you can't...
Can't do that. I know. Well, that's a misconception for entrepreneurs that I thought if I got the patent, I was home free. But a patent is only as good as you're willing to defend it.
You're going to have to spend money to defend it, right?
Right, absolutely. And the people that are knocking me off are like, multi-billion-dollar companies. So I'm faced with a business decision. Do you spend that money fighting them, or do you spend that money and energy coming out with the next best thing?
I don't know. You might be able to get a nice settlement out of someone like, Legs, or I don't know who. I mean, I don't know who the pantyhose people are.
All right, so let me ask you this. Normally, when a company buys another company, it's usually for 10 times its earnings. That's kind of a standard template for what. Company comes along right now and offers you $140 million. That's
right.
10 times 14, 140. Would you sell the company for $140 million?
You're crazy. You thought 5 seconds about it. Are you insane?
You know what? I'll tell you why. Because I think she's smart, because I think she knows she can probably get twice that. Because in 2 years, she'll be selling
140, I'm gone.
In 2 years, she'll be selling $30 million, and she can sell it for $300 million.
Yeah, way to go, Sarah.
Thanks, guys.
Morning X subscriber gone good. SPANX.com. It's SPANX.com.
The Morning X with Barnes and Leslie.
Our next guest, to say that she's been successful, I guess you could argue, maybe. I mean, maybe the last time we talked to her, she was in a tiny little apartment and she was mailing out cut up pantyhose.
I can't even begin to talk about how inspired I am by this person.
Who would have thought that over $1 billion later, right back on that phone, say hello to Sara Blakely. Hey, Sara.
Hey.
Well, I love those memes in social media that say, how it was, how it's going. So tell us, in all these years since we've chat, are you getting by?
I am getting by. Thank you so much for asking.
Good.
No, but it's so funny that you said that, because I did actually put something up the other day, and it said how it started, and it's me with a cardboard sign that I created that said SPANX hanging in my apartment crooked because I couldn't ever get it to stay on the wall. And then it said how it's now, and it's me standing below a building with the word SPANX at the top of the building.
Oh, that's cool.
It was so cool. It's been a journey. I can't believe I talked to you guys at the very beginning of this.
You really did, and honestly, what an inspiration, Sarah, because, you were the poster child for sticking with what you believed in, and it took you a while, but what an inspiration to any entrepreneur.
Well, listen, thank you so much. And it was people like you in the early days, especially, that were willing to talk to me and let me spread the word, because I had no money to advertise. So every single chance I got to be able to tell people about my invention was a huge help.
It has been really trippy for us to go back for not only you. You're probably the most successful Morning X listener conversion that we have since we've come back to the since we come back to the air, we're talking to all these people who, are coming back into our life, and we're finding out what they're doing now. Some are surgeons, some are this. And, you have an empire, which is great. I want to ask you, because the last time I bumped into you was on the set at Shark Tank. And
yes.
It was kind of surreal, because I walked in and my buddy Ken was like, hey, do you know Sarah? She's from Atlanta. I was like, actually, she was on our show like back in the day. And I remember saying hello to you and meeting up and chatting for a second. And watching you, I kind of felt like a proud papa. I was like, oh, that was like back on our show when she was like a little bird. Now look at her fly.
that was a wild experience that day on Shark Tank.
But what is that like to sit in that chair and you're spending your money? I mean, this isn't a bit. People think that's fake. That's for real.
It's for real. I mean, I loved it. I love hearing other people's ideas and, but the cool things about Shark Tank that I learned that I thought were interesting was, the sharks really have no idea what the person's about to pitch. Like, we are not briefed or prepped at all. The average pitch lasts an hour, although they only take 8 minutes of it. So if you think about that, 52 minutes end up on the cutting room floor. And then, you are really using your own money. And then I would say there's a pretty big percentage of the deals that close on air that don't actually end up closing for various reasons.
You have to really use your gut, too.
Totally. And, I like a lot of people, you're investing in a person. So for me, I mean, it has to be, I always look for, I'm like, people become entrepreneurs for two main reasons. They invent something that didn't already exist, or they figured out a way to take a product or a service and make it significantly better. So I'm always looking for what is that point of differentiation and is it really strong? And then it just comes down to the person. Like, do you like this person? Do you want to work with them? Are they believable? Are they passionate? And all of those things matter.
You did such a good job. I hope you go back. Did any of those deals pan out in a great way for you that you did?
Yeah, I invested in 2 different women's businesses, and I still, they're still going, and I'm supporting them now, and so that's been fun.
We are speaking with the one and only Sara Blakely, who changed women's lives forever with SPANX. I'm actually getting ready to go on a trip, Sara, and I have several pair that are packed. I do have to ask you about, in the course of your career, I will never forget something that you did which was so scary, and that was the time on Richard Branson's show, you did that crazy hot air balloon. Now, do you ever look back on that and go, I cannot believe I did that. That was crazy.
Leslie, I totally cannot believe I did that. And you know what's crazy? I ended up I'm in the Guinness Book of World Records for that.
Really? Tell everyone what it was, because I don't remember. What happened? What did you do?
So Richard Branson, who started Virgin, wanted to create his version of The Apprentice, right? But instead of each business challenge taking place in one city, they took place in a different city around the world. And instead of going into the boardroom, if you messed up on the business challenge and getting fired, you had to do a world record-breaking, death-defying stunt with Richard. And I am someone who's terrified of heights. I really have a massive fear of flying. And they cast me, in this, and within the first day of filming, I had to scale the side of a hot air balloon over the English countryside at 10,000 feet in the air.
Wow.
And have pee on top of the hot air balloon.
Barnes, you have to see the video. It's insane.
I think I remember now that you're describing it.
It freaked me out.
Right, and you know what? I have 4 small children that are 13 and under, and they have no idea I did this. And I mean, I want to hide this footage under lock and key now that I'm a mother, Like, how do you possibly say, you can never possibly think about doing something as stupid?
We have a mutual friend, and I see every year you and several women out on a secret trip. And I'm not giving away any secrets, but you gather your girlfriends and you go somewhere. And I think that is so cool. If I was a billionaire, I would do that too. How do you figure that out? You just call everyone and say, what do you want to do? Or do you tell them?
Okay, so I've been doing this for 17 years. I started it when I was 35 years old. And every year on my birthday, I take my 11 childhood friends on a surprise vacation.
So
and
cool.
They don't know where they're going. I only tell them hot, cold, or if they need a passport.
That's incredible.
Where was this year?
This year was Puerto Rico.
Man, I see your pictures every year, and I'm like, I don't have any friends that do that. I need better friends.
You need better friends.
It's so fun.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with Sara Blakely. This is The Morning X 99X.
The Morning X with Barnes and Leslie. 99X.
99X. It's The Morning X. Barnes and Leslie. We're hanging out with Sara Blakely. Now, Sara has some really... Hey, by the way, Sara, did you just sell your company or part of it?
Yes, I sold part of it.
Damn. But you're still working or no?
I'm involved in brand and product. Like I love to invent products, but it's an awesome time for the company to even go to the next chapter.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Man, that's impressive.
It's been amazing.
Something that you have launched recently that I'd love to get into, because I'm the type of person that I do not like to be alone. And you're talking about real growth and spending time alone and how you did it for years.
Yes, absolutely. So I go on solo vacations or solo trips, and I call them my think time. And I, would go away for 1 or 2 nights and just think. And I'm a big proponent of whether we're men or women, we're not spending enough time alone. And so I always talk to people because they say, you think of all these ideas for your business and for life, and when does that happen and how does that happen? And the real crux of this for me has been spending time alone. And it's daydreaming. So, I say, get out your calendar and look at it for the next week or two. Like, where on your calendar do you have carved out to be alone to daydream? And I'm not talking about when are you going through the checklist of what you have to do the rest of the day or, throughout the week. But when does your mind wander?
Man, how do you...
And you said you did that for years.
For years. And wherever it is in your life that your mind wanders is where the magic is for you in your life. You will be channeled, you will get answers, you will have clarity. I call it when I start co-creating with the universe. You'll just get these thoughts that pop into your head and you're like, I don't know what that was about, but that there's something there. It's really amazing. And, for Einstein, it was when he was shaving. For me, I identified my place where I daydream the most is in the car. There must be something about the rote activity of driving.
Yeah, the noise.
So when I identified, I have my most creative daydreaming time happens for me in the car. I lived 6 to 7 minutes from SPANX, and I ended up leaving an hour before I had to be at work to drive aimlessly around Atlanta before I went to the office. And my friends all named it my fake commute, but it was really valuable.
Well, you just go by yourself on a trip and you don't just get, I would freak out.
No, I love it. And so when I turned 50, my husband's like, what do you want? And I said, well, I'm going to take my friends away and I'd like to be with family a little bit. But I said, I want to go alone and spend 7 days on a vacation by myself.
7 days?
And I went and I spent 7 days alone, and it was unbelievably important.
Yes, you're saying it's guilt-free too, because a lot of people feel guilty about that.
Yeah, I mean, every time I post about any solo vacation I take or if I spend time alone, I was just in the Turks and Caicos for 2 days alone, and I posted a lot about it. I get so many emotional responses from mostly women who are like, I haven't been alone since I had children. Or I would feel so guilty taking any time alone or even imagining myself booking a trip for myself. It's just interesting how little time we truly spend alone and the benefits we get from it.
Where'd you stay in Turks and Caicos now that you've already come back?
The Amanyara.
Oh, dude, that is dope. That place. You can't even go take a peek, Leslie. We tried to go look at it, and they were like, yeah, no. When I was there a month ago, my wife's like, oh, let's go look at the furnishings and how they, design it. They're like, yeah, no. So,
really?
Yeah, we couldn't get past the gate.
Oh, my God. That place is so special. Just say, I'm here to see Sarah.
Yeah, next time I'm here to see Sarah.
Yes.
Yeah, we go way back.
But I mean, I was by myself. I went scuba diving alone.
That's wild.
I went with the company that did it, and then I go to dinner by myself. I walked on the beach. I went to the spa. It was amazing.
No one bothered you? Hey, there's Sara Blakely?
Not really. No.
I would recognize you just because, you're so everywhere, especially on shows like Shark Tank. I would think people would be right on you. But I guess not. I can't get through the gate, so I guess no one else is either there at Amanyara. That's a good pick. Very good pick.
You know what happens to me, Steve? When they recognize me, they flash me. I'm probably the most flash person in America. Everywhere I go, cocktail parties, airports, people see that I'm the SPANX girl, and they flash me their undergarments.
Are you serious?
Oh, that's hysterical.
I'm so serious. Oh, no, my husband's like, this is the biggest perk of being married to you. Everywhere I am, I'm standing next to you, and women are flashing their bras, and they're lifting up their skirts, and my husband's just standing there like, what do I do?
Tell people who your husband is, because a lot of people may not know.
Yeah, my husband is Jesse Itzler, and he's a serial entrepreneur. Used to be a rapper, then he started Marquis Jet, then he was in Zico coconut water and sold that to Coke. He's an ultra marathon runner and just an all-around really cool guy.
You guys really need to get motivated because you don't have much to show. I mean, seriously. And during Shark Tank, I spent some time talking to Jesse. He is a cool dude. What a nice guy.
He is a very nice guy and really inspiring and a lot of fun. And listen, every day's an adventure with him. The latest is we have a horse trailer in our driveway that's been converted to a wood-burning sauna and a grizzly cooler that's meant for deer meat that he fills up with water and ice, and we do extreme hot cold. Like, he does it nightly.
Okay, you need to post about that.
Gosh. Well, Sara, it was so cool to talk to you again. We're so proud of what you have done and representing Atlanta, but most importantly, you and Fram representing women who are powerful.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You guys are so welcome. Well, thank you for being a part of my journey. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Great stuff. Sara Blakely, thank you, and we'll see you soon.
All right, guys. Take care.
The Morning X with Barnes and Leslie. 99.